What's up, Mountaineer Nation? I'm Erin Slinney, and you're watching Mountaineer Playbook.
And I'm James Barrickman. We're here to bring you the latest in WVU athletics, where we look to tell you some of the biggest and untold sports stories here on campus.
WVU welcomes 2 new head coaches to their staff. New head football coach Neil Brown is leading the Mountaineers into this upcoming season.
Julian Mellett was there for his introduction to Mountaineer Nation.
Brown.
Neil Brown made a long-awaited entrance in Morgantown on January 9th, 2019. From there, he had less than a day before addressing the media for the first time. He's already fitting well into the Mountaineer mentality.
West Virginia is culture. It is vision, and it is passion. That's a great fit. It fits my DNA.
It fits his DNA because he's a winner. He takes over a program that's 14th winningest in college football history with 15 conference championships. The Mountaineer brand makes him think of a passionate fan base.
I think about the flying WV and the hardworking, blue-collar people of West Virginia that WV represents. I think about country roads, and I think about one of the best environments of all of college football.
Prior to WVU, Brown had been the head coach at Troy University since 2015.
Inside these doors at Milan Pushkar Center, Neil Brown was announced as WVU's 35th head football coach. Not only did he say to expect a lot of changes within the program, but also an entirely new coaching staff.
Formally announced at the press conference was WVU's new defensive coordinator, Vic Koenig, who coached with Brown at Troy. He said that he already has a depth chart in mind and is not opposed to moving players to unfamiliar positions.
We're going to see what our guys can do, and it's going to be an ongoing process, and it's never going to stop changing.
We're going to work, we're going to compete, we're going to have fun. At the end of the day, we're going to make you proud. Cue Country Roads, let's go Mountaineers. Thank you all.
Julia Mellett, Mountaineer Playbook, Morgantown.
Moving from Neil Brown to Tim Flynn, Flynn is leading the wrestling program into a new era. The Mountaineers hired Flynn last spring and are wrapping up his first season. Flynn comes from Edinboro University. Playbook reporter Michael Rinker tells us how Flynn plans to change the program.
Head wrestling coach Tim Flynn joins West Virginia from a program he put in the limelight. He led Edinboro to 2 top 10 finishes at the Division I National Tournament. He knows what it takes to win.
I think we have to establish a culture of winning, a culture of how kids conduct themselves, how they live their lives, revolving around their goals of being an NCAA champion or an All-American wrestler.
Regardless of how the team does on the mat, Flynn has made his expectations clear. Representing this state well is priority 1.
Someone says, hey, I was a West Virginia wrestler. We want people to think of, first and foremost, a great kid, a quality student, a hard worker, all these things.
Head coach Tim Flynn left Edinboro after building a program that had 3 national champions, over 35 All-Americans, and having won 200 dual-match victories. The team also placed in the top 10 twice during his tenure, which is something he will look to do here in Morgantown.
Flynn has his former wrestlers on his staff. Mitchell Port is a 3-time All-American. He credits Coach Flynn for their success.
A lot of it has to do with the work ethic that he brings and he wants the athletes to train under. That, along with just the way that he holds everyone accountable for everything. You got to be the hardest worker, whatever you do. Investing a lot of time into what you want to do and what you want to be successful at, and also the work ethic to reach those goals.
Finishing up the regular season, the team is 4-13 in dual matches and closes the season against South Dakota State. Reporting for Mountaineer Playbook, I am Michael Rinker.
The WVU women's cross-country team ended its regular season in November, but one runner continues to train for 2 programs in the spring. WVU cross-country and track and field runner Charlotte Wood is a freshman from Bridgebridge, Ontario. Will compete for both Team Canada in cross-country as well as the gold and blue for the track and field season. She placed 6th in the under-20 division at the Canadian National Championships. The top 6 qualified for the upcoming Canadian World Junior Cross-Country Championships.
I'm pretty fortunate to be able to redshirt the indoor season this year. Hopefully I'll be running outdoor track, but our main focus right now is for Worlds in March.
March Madness will be here before you know it, and the women's basketball team is working wonders in the face of adversity. The Mountaineer roster has depleted, but they're still managing to perform at a high level. Despite playing with only 8 players, they've managed to uphold a record of 16-5.
The women's team is currently enjoying a 4-game winning streak. The team will be on the road this Saturday at Iowa State. WVU men's basketball head coach Bob Huggins held his annual Fish Fry Friday. 1,600 people filled Milan Park to help the fight against cancer. Attendees donated towards the Norma May Huggins Cancer Research Endowment Fund and the Minor Scholarship Fund. Debbie Williams got a huge donation.
Deb's a 3-time cancer survivor, so she's very much on board, and she does pretty much everything.
It means a lot because Coach Huggins raises a lot of money for the Cancer Center, and it brings new research, and that's what we need to find a cure.
You know what you were saying, Akers, about down at high.
The Fish Fry also featured some of the players from the 1959 WVU men's basketball team. The national runners-up were in Morgantown celebrating their great season. That included the local himself, Jerry West.
The auction was filled with sports memorabilia, including the first Mountaineer musket made by the late Marvin Wotring.
Wotring made the muskets for the Mountaineer mascots. Holy Pursuit's Dream Foundation received $125,000 from the musket auction.
Playbook's Matt Menard sat down with Kevin Turner, the man who's been in possession of the musket.
Prior to Marvin building the very first muzzleloader, the Mountaineer used what, in Marvin's word, was called a blunderbuss. He was unable to get parts for the gun. He wasn't able to repair it. And he said, let me do this. Let me build you an authentic Mountaineer era rifle to use. And that's how the very first gun was built. This rifle, if I'm not mistaken, was carried for 7 or 8 years by 7 or 8 different Mountaineers until it was damaged in Sunnyside one night with an incident, let's just call it that. Major Harris wanted it. A lot of the Mountaineers themselves wanted it, but he never would let it go. Last May, I got a phone call from him out of the blue, and he said, Kevin, can you come out to the shop? I didn't know what he wanted. I had no idea. But when I went out, the gun was laying on his counter. And what he said to me was, I want you to take this gun. He said, I'm donating this to you and to your foundation. He said, I think what you're doing is a great thing, but I'm proud to be a part of that. Here, take it. And with the gun, I got the original Mountaineer rifle, which he built in 1978. I got the original scabbard for it that he handmade and hand sewed. And I got the original target from when he sighted it in 1978 that he hand signed. His rifles have 40 years of history. When we finally beat Penn State and that rifle sounded off. When we beat Oklahoma, that gun sounded off at the end of the game. It has tremendous historic value to anybody in the Mountaineer sports era.
There's more to come on this edition of Mountaineer Playbook.
The WVU gymnastics team is setting the bar high, not only in the Big 12, but across the country. Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
We conquer mountains. But that's not why they call us Mountaineers. It's because we don't let anything stand in our way. We build what's never been built, seek cures for the incurable, and go first into undiscovered frontiers. We are Mountaineers, and impossible is just another mountain to climb.
Welcome back to Mountaineer Playbook. The WVU gymnastics team is gearing up for the 2019 season after sweeping their first home meet. The Mountaineers are making headlines.
The WVU gymnastics team is done with its first home meet of the season. After 4 road trips, the Mountaineer homecoming was a success. Senior Kira Kaczynski ranks nationally on the vault and floor exercise.
I absolutely love floor every single meet, so, I'm always loving floor, always so much fun, and, I love getting the crowd into it, and they love it too, so that makes me love it even more.
West Virginia was in 3rd place after the 3rd rotation, but eventually bounced back with a strong finish. The Mountaineers have a lineup loaded with talent.
Our floor lineup is amazing. It's nationally ranked, so I knew that we could make up some 10s. I was watching the scoreboard as usual, so I knew we had to make up a lot of 10s, and they turned in some amazing performances, all 6 of them, to give us that win.
The WVU gymnastics team follows the home opener with 4 more meets at the WVU Coliseum. And head coach Jason Butt said even though the competition is tough, the team is ready for the challenge.
It's just really focusing on the landings. It's focusing on good tight shapes, in our handstands. Denver and Iowa State are going to be very difficult teams to beat. And all three of us, it's a Big 12 meet, and so we really want to come out of that with a win. But I just told the team at the end of the meet today, we win and carry gym. We don't win up here. So we have 3 practices this week, and we've got to get in there and make it happen.
The Mountaineers are ranked 4th overall in the Big 12, 3rd on vault, and 4th on beam and bars. It's safe to say the team is off to a great start. Reporting for Mountaineer Playbook, I'm Bree Clark.
From gymnastics to twirling, some future Mountaineers recently spent some time on campus. The featured twirlers hosted a Twirler for a Day event at the Rec Center. It was a twirling clinic for the young ladies, almost like some on-the-job training.
We want everyone to feel like they can pick up a baton at any stage of their life and learn the basics, because it does take a lot of practice, but it's not really an age thing. It's just a repetition thing.
Sounds like a fun event. Thanks, James. Coming up this weekend in WVU sports, you can catch the rifle team in action this Saturday versus number 3 Kentucky.
You can also catch the men's basketball team this Saturday at 8 p.m. against Texas.
Thanks for watching this week's edition of Mountaineer Playbook. We'll see you next time.